everybody. How are you? Welcome back. Thank you so much, first off, to everybody who commented below and for the feedback I've gotten off of the lesson or the video I posted last week. I truly appreciate it, and it does feel good to be back. Was definitely a little concerned with where we were going to go because honestly, just about everything you can possibly want to know and learn about drums is already out here online for you to know it. But before we get into today's conversation, I wanted to ask you to do something. Last week we were talking about one of the biggest reasons, one of the main reasons a lot of people have stopped playing drums lately. And I mentioned in that video to kind of really get back to what made you want to play in the first place. What was it that sparked that interest? What was it that gave you that inspiration to pick up a pair of sticks? And I'd like to know what that was. So this week, if you could do me a favor, if you can comment below and let me know what it was that made you originally want to play drums. I'm really curious to know. I'd love to know. And I'll get into that story about myself at another time, because today I wanted to still kind of continue that conversation about getting you back into drumming, getting you back behind your kit. And as I just said, everything you could probably want to learn is already out here on YouTube. Honestly, what would the point be for me to make a lesson right now teaching paradiddles or teaching beats or just doing something like that? There's enough of it out there. I can show you my technique. I can show you how I do it. That stuff's already out there. I've already filmed those lessons. And like I said, it's all here. At this point, if you're paying for online lessons, unless it's private lessons, it's money not being well spent, to be completely honest. You have enough information here. So I'm not telling you to cancel subscriptions or anything like that, and I'm not trying to say there's anything wrong with that. But what I'm trying to say is there are better ways for you to spend your money, and there are better things for you to focus on. And that's what I want to talk about this week. And that's what kind of drummer do you want to be? What is it about drums that makes you want to play, and why do you want to play them? There are people out there who are learning how to play drums, learning everything there is about drummings because they want to be professional studio musicians on call 24 hours a day who can play everything from blues to funk to jazz to Latin music, everything. There are people out there who are learning all sorts of stuff because they just want to be a professional musician so bad, they're going to grab onto the first thing that they land, so they want to be prepared for it. There are people who want to be educators. There are people who want to be pro musicians, touring musicians, and then there are people who want to be in bar bands, people who don't even want to leave their house and play, they just want to play for themselves. So I'd really like to know what is it, and I'm going to ask you next week about that, but what kind of musician do you want to be? What kind of drummer do you want to be? Because that really is what's going to determine what you need to learn. If you're going to be that pro musician who's going to get out there and be playing all types of styles and doing all sorts of touring and recording, and that's your real main motive there, then you really do need to learn everything, and you better be taking lessons from a great person, and you better be practicing and all that stuff. I mean, that actually is when you're devoting your life, a large point of your life, to drumming, right? Now for me, my drum life is it's not only about drums, and it's not just about my family. It's about myself and other interests and things about life itself that I wonder about and think about and spend time each day working on and pondering and writing about. So drums for me, I've been playing for a long time now. I'm 51 years old. I started playing drums at 13 years old. I've always really played rock or some funk and stuff like that. If I had to do something, learn something that was outside of my wheelhouse, if there was something that I needed to learn for a gig that I wanted to do, then I can sit down and learn it. I understand independence, I understand movement, and I understand myself and how to discipline myself to break down segments of practice and make it come to fruition. So if I really wanted to do that, it's not a problem. Everything I do is a choice behind the kit. If I do it, it's a choice. If I don't do it, it's a choice, right? So you need to understand that for yourself too. If you're going to be content and completely happy playing cover tunes, AC/DC and classic rock tunes in a bar and stuff, then you need to just focus your time on to the elements of rock and the things about rock and foundations of rock and understanding rock beats and stuff like that. It's not difficult. If you want to be a jazz musician, you're going to have to understand those things. I mean, and I'm saying if you want to specifically just stay in one genre, not branch out all over the place and be the biggest universal educator pro musician there is on the planet. I don't need to be that. Because there are things in your life you want to do. It's not just about drums. There are things you wonder about, there are things you want to see, and there are things you are working for to buy. And again, buying drum equipment, if you've got a decent set and a decent set of cymbals and everything is working fine, stop spending money on drum equipment. Just because everybody else is ranting and raving about a product, just because everybody else is adding this behind their drum kit, does not mean you have to either. If you are happy and content with what you got, then that's it. Use your money for something else, take a trip, get into another hobby. Actually, if you've got so much money, extra money left over because you're not buying drum equipment anymore, guess what? Work less hours so you don't have to, keep being a slave to the dollar and enjoy some more of your time. That's the whole key, is getting that good balance, right? You want to be able to be happy behind the drums, you want to feel good in your life, and you don't want the two of those to make each other feel negative. And when drums becomes overwhelming, when it's too much to learn, when my teacher's just giving me too much and I'm just a drummer, I'm not trying to be the teacher, but I've got to learn 2 songs by next week and chart out this and do all this, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary, and those are the things that discourage you. So really, really, let me know what made you initially want to play drums in the first place, and spend the next week until we meet and talk next week, and think about your drum set. Think about yourself. Think about the music you like. Think about the things in your life you want to do and pursue, and come to a conclusion about what type of drummer you want to be. Once we know what kind of drummer you want to be, then I could sit here and really start working on some fun, specific stuff. Because like I said, if you want to learn your rudiments, they're here. If you want to learn all your linear patterns, they're here. If you want to learn sticking and jazz and all this stuff, all the lessons are here. YouTube, right here on YouTube, you can learn everything there is about drums pretty much for free and just researching on the internet, right? So don't worry about what everybody else is doing, what site they're a member of. If you really want to get a drum teacher, try and find somebody in person locally to you. If there's nobody in your area who can teach you drums, then go online and try and find somebody who can give you private lessons. Now get this, you may belong to a drumming forum, a drum site, and none of the teachers are doing it for you, or their private lessons are really too much money. But within that same organization, there are other students who are kicking butt, rocking, and really excelling at it. Talk to them. Reach out to your fellow drummers who are at that level that you want to obtain, or who are doing something that you yourself want to do, and ask them if they wouldn't mind jumping on Skype and showing you what to do. Offer them a couple of bucks. I'm quite sure they would be more than happy, actually excited to have an opportunity to reach out and connect with somebody and show them. And really what I guess my whole point with our little discussion this week is you don't have to be a member of every site. You don't have to comment on every post. You don't have to buy every piece of equipment. You don't have to know how to play every style. And you don't have to be every other drummer. Be your own drummer and really, really find what it is that motivates you. For me these days, yes, when I was younger, teenager and in my 20s, I wanted to make it big. I wanted to be a rock star and all that stuff. And when I was doing Drumeo, I was really enjoying that and stuff like that. But for me, drums is a way for me to express myself. If I'm jamming with a bunch of guys and I'm playing, I'm getting to be creative. It's my canvas and these are my paintbrushes, and I'm getting to paint a picture of sound. It's a way for me to take internal emotions and thoughts and transcribe them into an audible rhythm and pattern. Drums is something for me to get lost in and create a meditative state and close my eyes and just play on the toms and back and forth. And you know what? It doesn't matter if I hit the rim or I fall off tempo or my pattern gets messed up and I have to restart it over, because it's for me. It's all for me internally. And drumming is for me these days. I don't play for anybody else. I don't play with the intention of playing for anybody else. I'm working on some music with a couple of people right now, and that's really for us. You'll get to hear it at some point, but it's really for us to do. And you know, that's really it these days. I have 3 children, 3 dogs, 2 tortoises, my house. I've got an entirely other path I'm on with writing and connecting with people about meditation and spirituality and stuff like that. But you know, drums is and has probably been the most consistent thing in my life, and it's been with me the longest. And drums is amazing. It's truly, you know, if you can take away the notation and you can take all the lessons and just isolate yourself to you and your drums, drums is and can be an extension of ourselves. It does allow us to move our body in different ways, whether it's aggressive and hard or soft and fluid, and create sounds that come from those motions. How we're pressing into the drum, how we're lifting off the drum, how we're tapping our cymbal. All of those things, every sound for me, every hit, every nuance, every beat, every little ding and bop and boom has an intention from within. And it's just for me to express myself and connect with myself and find a part of myself inside, that gets lost and cluttered by all the noise that we have to deal with on a daily basis. All the things that distract us and all the things we're seeing and absorbing and smelling and tasting. This is a way for me to shut all that out and fold myself inside and play some drums. So for me, drumming is fun, it's therapy, it's meditative, it's calisthenic, right? I mean, I do cardio on my drums. There's so many things you can do with your drum set, but I really am actually completely content and happy with myself as a drummer, where I am as a drummer and what I'm doing as a drummer. And that's what I want to work on with you. I want you to feel comfortable in your skin, and I want you to feel comfortable sitting behind your drum set. As far as all the angles and fancy dancy video angles and all that stuff and the great audio, we'll get to that in time. Right now, it's just about me and you reconnecting, you and your drums reconnecting, and finding that happy balance between you and your drum life. Everyone, I'll see you next week. Have a great day. And namaste, my friends. I'll see you soon. Bye.